I never expected to have a record contract. I never expected to have any success. I thought that I would probably spend my life maybe teaching community college and making music in my bedroom that no one would ever listen to.
So tell me about this new CD of yours.
Well, it's called Last Night, and the idea behind it is to somehow take an 8-hour night out in New York and condense it into 65 minutes. So, because I live in the Lower East Side of Manhattan,
right,
where all the bars and the clubs and the venues are, and I go out way too often. So I wanted to make a record that somehow, for me, sounded like a night out in New York.
How do you do that? How do you condense 8 hours into 65 minutes?
The album starts really sort of innocent and naive, you know, which is supposed to be 10 o'clock at night. You know, you're getting ready, the night is young, and then it gets a little more dance-oriented, starts to get a little darker, and then by the end of the album, it's very calm and sort of tranquil, which is supposed to represent, you know, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning when you're stumbling home.
So who did you collaborate with on this record?
Well, as you know, there's a long tradition, especially now, of people making records and doing collaborations that are sort of marketing driven. And my idea in making this record is I wanted to make a record with my friends. And it made working on it so much easier, because that way, you know, I call up a friend, they come over, we make spaghetti, we work on music, we go out and see a bad movie, and the whole process is a lot more like fun and organic. I've produced so many different people, but at the same time I was producing a song for Britney, I was working on a song with Ozzy Osbourne. So I've worked with everyone from David Bowie to Metallica to the Beastie Boys to the Prodigy to whomever. I mean, like, I've worked with all these different people, because I find by working with different people, it enables me to understand how other people approach the creative process, and so I sort of learn from them.
Are there any Canadian artists you'd like to work with or you could see yourself working with?
Well, the artists that I really revere, I'm a little intimidated by. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, and culturally I've always felt much closer to Canada than I have to America. I feel way more at home in Canada than I would almost anywhere else in the United States. You look at Canada's contribution to music and art and film and literature over the years, it really is disproportionate to the actual number of people who live here. You know, I mean, think of all the remarkable, like really world-class musicians who've come out of Canada.
Right.
And it's only 30 million people. Canada is such an amazing country. Someone like Neil Young, who I've always loved, like, I would be way too intimidated to ever try and work with him.
How has the internet changed music then, or at least your line of music?
Well, the internet, especially things like MySpace and Facebook, have enabled musicians to communicate more directly with fans or with an audience, and I think that's really healthy. Because in the old days, you'd put out a record and then you'd have to wait months to find out what people thought about it. And now I can make a piece of music and put it on my MySpace site, and 10 minutes later, people write in to tell me what they think.
Right.
And so it creates a more of a sort of like symbiotic back and forth between me and the people who are willing to listen to my music. I don't fully understand the collective obsession with fame and stardom. It seemed like in the old days, fame came after someone did something great.
Right.
You know, you had like a musician or an actor or a writer or a director who created this great body of work and they became famous for it. And now it seems like people become famous for showing up, and then they have to figure out what they want to do. Like Paris Hilton, she became famous because she was rich and she had sex in a hotel room. And then once she's famous, her managers have to figure out, does she want to make a record? Does she want to,
movies?
Yeah.
Even though the gods are crazy, even though the stars are blind.
My dilettantish theory is that a lot of times people are driven by unresolved emotional issues. And so you're driven by insecurities and emotional issues to create something.
Right.
And then you have a degree of success, and your sense of self is challenged by that success. And so I think in Britney's case, she wants love. I mean, everybody wants love, but in her case, she has, I think, this desperate need to be loved, and she's sort of challenging people and saying to them, like, okay, you loved me when I was 17 years old and really hot. Do you love me now that I'm 10 years older and I have a shaved head and I'm beating paparazzi with umbrellas. Almost like she wants unconditional love, and she's presenting herself in such a way that's challenging people. I don't take the institution of fame all that seriously.
Then how do you personally measure your success? And it's not record sales, is it, if fans are into it, is that how you measure it?
If someone comes up to me and tells me that they love a piece of music that I've made, or they love an album that I've made, then I feel like it's successful. If someone's willing to make the effort to listen to the music that I've made, I'm just flattered.